Are you serious?
Right, there's plenty of ways to kill an hour out there. Thank you for killing one with us. I'm Marcus Bronzy.
And I am Nick Bright. What's happening?
Yeah, man. What's going on, Nick? I feel like I've not seen you for ages, even though it was like last weekend. I don't want to sound all over sentimental.
Are you like? I feel like you're being a bit, clingy, man. You know what I mean?
Why? I'm not being funny, but I texted you yesterday at 10 o'clock at night. I saw the 2 ticks. I saw the blue 2 ticks in WhatsApp. You didn't call me back or message me back. What's her name?
But somebody was late at night, man. You know what I mean? Come on, bro.
Yeah, but I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet go out about 5 minutes after I called you. So explain that, please.
You do sound like a 21st century stalker. That is what it's like now. It's like when like, because like everyone's guilty of it. We're guilty of it even. When you text somebody and you're like, they're not replying, man. Let me just check their Twitter though. Let me check their Twitter, see if they tweeted. They tweeted 2 hours ago, but I text them like 4 hours ago. They're ignoring me, man. Like everyone does that shit now. It's crazy.
Yeah. And the thing is, dare you? Yeah.
When you're the person that's doing the ignoring as well, you kind of forget. You kind of forget sometimes. You're like, it's long. I can't be bothered to talk on the phone right now, or whatever. So you might do a little cheeky swerve. Doesn't mean you're not gonna holler back, but it's just like, I might do a little cheeky swerve every now and then like you forget, and then you just start Snapchatting shit, and then you're like, fuck, like I better delete that. Like it's happened to me before.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? You just got to have. I think nowadays you've just got to be on or off if you want to avoid this confusion. Like, I had a cold last week for a few days, and I was just like, you know what? Nothing's slipping out. And then I realized, without even realizing, Nick, I did a tweet with a picture and a meme in it, and I was like, oh shit.
Killed yourself.
Delete that. Just delete it, bruv.
The thing is, I hear that on and off thing, right? But sometimes it's like you can be in a situation where you're called to talk on text, or you're called to maybe deal with something that's going to be quick, but then like other times when like a convo might go on for long or whatever, or you're in a situation like in a meeting or whatever, not like a really formal meeting where you can't be on your phone, but you know what I mean, you could you can be on your phone to text, but you can't just pick up the phone mid-meeting like yeah what's going on, I'm in a meeting at the minute, but like it's different if you can just text like, I'm in a meeting, but it's cool, we can chat.
So basically, when you're on your radio show on BBC Radio 1 Extra, when you're recording How to Kill an Hour, that's when you can text.
Yeah, exactly. Like what we're doing right now, I'm obviously busy, but like I'm not busy enough to not be able to text someone back if they were to text me right now, even though I'm talking to you on my phone as we speak. Like, so if someone did text me, it'd be a bit hard to kind of take the phone away like this, and you'd probably hear me tapping the screen, or like, yeah. Like, it'd be a bit annoying for the people listening, but whatevs.
It would be a bit of disrespect for our listener, and sorry that Nick even suggested that he would do that on the show, but at least now you know what it sounds like when Nick is texting while he's meant to be talking to you.
Yeah, like, because you can't help it, you can hear the tapping on the screen, innit? You can hear the
or when someone's talking to you and then you're going, yeah.
Like when you're not really listening.
Yeah, and then they go, you listening? You go, yeah, of course, man. Like,
you know what? My flatmate is the guy for, like, I've never met anybody ever, and this is the truth, ever, who you can be having the deepest convo with, right? Like, and you're both in the convo, so he's responding properly, you're chatting, blah blah blah. He will look at his phone for like a second, and then that's it. You've lost him. He is gone, like disappeared. And then like I can always tell when it's happening, because I'm like, yeah. I'm still like rabbiting on, blah 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 blah, and then like I'll finish what I'm saying, and he just won't say anything, and I'm like, you listening? He's like, oh yeah, sorry man, sorry. And I'm like, we were literally like just talking. You asked me a question, I'm replying to your question, and then you're just ignoring, man. Like, what's all that about?
What a cunt.
he does it all the time. It's like so annoying. Like, it's getting to the stage where I'm like, if we're gonna have a conversation, bruv, his phone's away.
Wow, that's a big bit of talk. So you say to him, listen, if we're having a conversation, phone down.
Yeah, if you want to chat to man, throw your phone out the window, because you're getting on my fucking nerves.
Wow, that's a relationship dynamic and a half. It is. So Nick, the purpose of this slightly shorter episode is to talk a bit more about VR. Obviously, we've dropped the whole conversation that we had about that Battlezone in the last episode, or a previous episode where we spoke about basically, we spoke about all the VRs, didn't we, really, that we've sampled, and then our first go on the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, I feel like How to Kill an Hour is just turning into the VR podcast, because it's like, obviously I understand it now, because it is the kind of technology that's at the forefront in gaming, and it's the next thing to launch. But it's crazy, isn't it, how much like VR, and don't you feel like, even though we've known virtual reality is coming for a while, because, you know, they've been in development for years, it almost feels like now it's like come out of nowhere. It's strange.
Yeah. And let me, and this is going to be something that, if you are not listening to this in mid-October 2016, you're going to be like, no, there's no hype. But if you're listening to this in and around that time, every newspaper is talking about VR. And this is right before an election where some madness is going to go on in America, where that's kind of taken up a lot of papers. But as well as that, in every single paper, there's been talk about VR. Like, it's everywhere. And like,
it is ridiculous, man. It's like, and all the emails that are, you know, coming through to the How to Kill an Hour office as well. It's like, come to this VR launch. We got this VR event. We're sampling the new VR for this. It's like, it's mental.
Yeah, it's like this. It's the biggest sort of clash of consoles, if you want to call VR, like, if you want to call it that, but the different flavors of VR, they're all clashing. I feel like it's the biggest clash since we first had the Wii versus the PlayStation versus the Xbox. You know, when there was a time when there was that Christmas where you were either getting you were getting a PlayStation, or you were getting an Xbox, or you were getting a Wii.
Yeah, and if you want to take it back further, if you've got any older listeners locked into How to Kill an Hour, like, I remember the Mega Drive versus the SNES. It was like, you know, the difference is, back then it was like, it was easily, you know, achievable to have both, because consoles are way cheaper than they are now.
Jeez.
Like, nowadays, like, don't get me wrong, a lot of people still have both, but consoles are pricey now, man. Let's not pretend.
Yeah, they're so expensive that, you know, they almost cost as much as a new iPhone.
Yeah, like, which is funny in itself, because, you know, I remember when phones used to be like flipping. Like, I think I bought my first mobile phone. Like, I bought it with my own money, and it was like £100. Like, I don't know how it was worth £100, because it was so dead. Like, you could only text or call. But like, iPhones now, man, like, what are they? Like, £8, 800 quid, something like that.
800, 900 quid. But you can, like, download GTA on them and play GTA. Like,
yeah. Look, listen, you can't dispute it. Like, they're like literally like 6 billion times better than my first ever mobile phone. But like,
and they don't blow up.
Well, yeah, there is that. I mean, you know, you can argue that, you know, Samsung is the phone for the more daring person, the person who likes taking risks in their life, the person who likes to live life on the edge. You know, you never know when your phone might blow up when it's against your ear. You know what I mean? Like, Apple can't fuck with that.
So it's the sort of phone that James Bond would use.
Exactly.
Or Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
The difference is, though, like, you know how, like, Mission Impossible, I can't even say it, Mission Impossible, it's like, this message may self-destruct or this message will self-destruct in 10 seconds, so they kind of know when they're going to self-destruct. With the Samsung, it might go at any time. You might be getting your instructions from the boss, and it might just go bang.
Yeah, and you know, this is so good. If someone's annoying you, you can just hang up the phone. And they say, what happened? You can just say, oh, my phone blew up. Sorry, man.
Yeah. Like, it's a valid excuse. Yeah. You know, I really wanted to have the conversation, but the phone just blew up and took half my face with it.
There you go.
Which is the reason why I also can't come and meet you either. So it's like, to get out of jails.
Jeez. As long as you don't go on Twitter and start fucking tweeting like nothing's happened. Then it's bait for you. But yeah, VR. So, I'll tell you. So yeah, Nick, you were saying loads of emails are coming in for VR events. It was an event that came up, and I was the only guy that could make it. To be honest, it was the official, because we like I said, we had our go in VR a little while ago, just before the VR came out, and then there was like an official PlayStation experience, which was in East London, and we went along there. And you know what, Nick? It was really well done. Well done, PlayStation. Went down there, gave my name in, and they had every single of one of the launch titles prepared and ready to go for you to have a go on.
Really,
really, yeah. It was really, really good. So I went in there, and to be fair, I didn't have enough time to go on all of the experiences. I can tell you what I went on. First things first, I had to do a bit of Batman VR.
Obviously,
bro, it's because I'm a Batman fan. This is going to be highly tainted, and this is going to be very biased, but man, it was sick. It was just good to be standing there, being Batman, looking at myself, moving around.
Yeah, what did you have to do?
Batman.
Because like you say, you're the only one that can make it down. I haven't researched or looked into it that much, so I don't really know the score. So in this particular game, were you actually playing a game, or was it just kind of like a walkabout experience?
This is it. This is where some people. This is where you might be like, but because you put on the VR headset, which is, you know, they craftily put 2 pointy ears on it, so everyone knew you were playing the Batman VR.
Okay.
So you put that on, and then they give you the headsets and the PlayStation Move controllers, and they give them to you. So that becomes your hands in the game. So two hands come floating over to you, very similar to like when we were using the Vive before, that we spoke about in a previous episode. And in the Batman experience, it's more of an introduction to the potential of VR. So you get to pick up stuff, move stuff around, experience other characters moving around you. I'm trying not to spoil it. Experience other characters around you in the game. You get to put on the bat suit and throw batarangs, but it's more like an introduction to what the game will be like and what you can experience in VR. And if I'm honest with you, if this is one of the things that I think will make VR work in certain situations, it's got to be the stories. The stories have to be really, really good. I don't think the fact that we're in a VR world is enough for it to be like, wow. The story has to be sick. And because I love Batman, I was in there talking to my butler. I was in there throwing batarangs. I was looking at myself moving around in the mirror as Batman, and everyone.
You was chatting to Alfred, yeah. You was just chatting to a man like Alf.
Alfred was giving me a few tips, you know, talking to me about, you know, some situations that I might. Well, you know what Alfred's like. He's always like, you know, you know, so Alfred is like, he's your number one guy. He's gonna be there for you, whatever you need, really.
He's been backing you since you was a kid, man. If you watch Gotham. Man was there for little Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. So that was really good. I'm trying not to spoil it, but the VR situation, I must say, the graphics and stuff were great. There wasn't as much movement in the Batman VR experience. So you know me, I told you I get a bit of a topsy-turvy belly quite quickly with VR.
Yeah, right.
None of that. But there was a situation where you're in a platform that moves down, and I don't know how to explain it, but no, I can't explain it. It just felt like I was moving down, Nick. It was crazy. I was like, I know I'm not moving, but because this VR is so realistic, I feel like this platform is going down.
I guess it's like, I went to Universal Studios in America when I was in Miami. I drove up to Orlando and went to Universal, and they've got a lot of games which, a lot of rides, I should say, which are, you know, like 4D, like you wear like the 3D glasses, and then like, you're sitting in like a carriage, and the carriage does move, but it's like, it's obviously not moving as much as like the sensation makes you believe, because you're watching a screen. So I guess it's like similar to that, because the ride that springs to mind at Universal was the Spider-Man ride, and like Spider-Man is swinging from building to building and that, and you're swinging with him, and it feels mad like you're actually swinging with him. But like, if you were to take the glasses off, you're probably moving like, you know, like 30 centimeters.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, yeah. And it's like that personified. And speaking of movement, the other experience that I had to go on, Nick, was where they made you sit down in a seat, and it was called London Heist.
Okay.
And in this scenario, it was a little taster of a game where you just robbed a bank, and you're sitting in a car, and there's a guy talking to you about, you know, oh mate, freaking hell, it was a bit crazy in there, speaking some geezerish. If I'm honest, I wasn't really listening because I was just too busy looking around this car that I was sitting in.
Okay.
And I could turn the radio on in the car, change the radio station, pick a drink up, throw stuff around while he's talking to me, and then all of a sudden you get ambushed. He hands you a gun, and you have to shoot off these people that are ambushing you. But because you're in a VR world, you can lean out the car and look behind you, see stuff coming. You can look in rear view mirrors. You can almost accidentally shoot the character that's driving, and he's like ducking and moving out of the way. It was crazy. And again, very simple experience, but the story got me. I was in a high-speed car chase, Nick. I've never been in one in real life, and this was the closest I could be to a real life high-speed car chase. All I was thinking when I took the visor off was that would be so sick if Jason Statham was voicing the geezer in it. I would love to be in like a transporter type film game with him. And then it just got me thinking, like, is this the future of VR? Like, is VR going to have to be strong with the storyline? Is it going to have stuff like Batman everyone loves? Or is it got to have these high octane things to sort of drag people in? Or is it going to be a thing where it's more about just, wow, it's VR? I don't know. I feel like it's more the prior.
Yeah, no, because if what it is, right, with all new technology is when it first comes out, you're wowed by it anyway, just because it's new. But then, like, the novelty wears off quickly. For me, it's going to be all in the stories, but also, you know, they're going to have to think about new ways that they can keep us hooked. Because if it's just because, like you say, I've seen a lot of VR technology up until this point where it's just about you're in the experience. You're not really doing anything. You're just in it whilst it's going on around you. And I feel like that's cool for now because it's new, but I don't think that will last very long. Because in a minute, people are going to go, well, you know, this is the same as the Avengers one that I you know, had a go on last week, or it's the same as the Batman one that I tried out. Like, I'm just watching stuff happen. Like, it almost needs to be like, you know, you're part of the Jeopardy rather than just watching on. Things that you do affect what happens in this virtual world. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's where it's at, because otherwise it would just be like, you know, well, this is good. Like, a bit bored now though.
Exactly.
And also the price tag is quite hefty. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you don't want to drop big dough on something that, you know, after a little while you're like, well, it's fun while it lasted, kind of thing.
Yeah, it can't be like a game. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, a game, you're just like, oh yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's got to be something. It's big money, man. It's got to be something that you want to keep revisiting. You know, when they're bringing out new titles, you're like, oh shit, I want to get that, man, because, you know, it's so sick.
Yeah, exactly. It's the cost of a console at the moment and the release.
Yeah.
The price will drop, but you know, if consoles will probably drop at the same rate that the VR stuff will. I mean, you mentioned just before we press record that the online world, you've seen quite a bit of chatter on Twitter and stuff about VR as well, right?
Yeah. I've seen a few people talking about it. A few people that I follow on Twitter have got headsets already, and they're playing the game. And one of the games that I saw that seems to be quite popular online is Resident Evil. I guess that's mainly for the scare factor. Again, haven't played it, haven't tried it out myself, so I can't comment really much on the experience per se. But if they play their cards right with a game like Resident Evil, that can be like pant-wettingly terrifying.
And you know what? That's the reason I didn't demo that shit. You won't catch me dead playing one of those fucking games. No.
Yeah, scary,
you're right,
bro. Especially with the headphones on as well. So it's like they can do the kind of like panoramic surround sound. So it's like, you know, if a fucking zombie's coming up behind you, like I used to be scared enough of Resident Evil just like on the PlayStation 2, bruv. Like, or sorry, the PlayStation 1. Like when I used to play it on the original PlayStation back in the day.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly.
The thought of the zombie actually coming at you. Yeah,
exactly. What would you do if you're playing Resident Evil, you took the headset off and the monster was still there?
But you know what? Like,
that'll be a film. That's going to be a film.
You joke, but people are going to start doing that as pranks. You know, you got all these fucking mental clowns walking the streets at the moment thinking it's hilarious. I mean, the sad thing about that is most of them are like 40 years old, scaring fucking 12-year-old kids. But like the mad thing is what people are going to do just for a prank on, you know, like things like Lad Bible and all this. You get these like, you know, geezers who think like they're really funny on the internet. People are going to be like, put their mates on Resident Evil. And then like, because obviously, you know, what you're watching in the VR headset, the rest of us are seeing on the screen, right? You can see what the person's. So when it comes to a really scary point, I guarantee you, like there'll be like people like jumping on their mates, going, oh, and then their mates are gonna absolutely shit themselves. Like, And I bet you right now there'll be millions of videos like that are gonna start surfacing on Twitter and Insta and all the rest of it. Yeah,
someone getting scared, running into a wall and knocking them down.
Breaking the headset.
Yeah, or knocking themselves up to pieces. Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So that's been the VR experience I've had. There'll be more to come, and I suppose we'll keep our eyes on it. Really. That's such a pun. That went a pun. And yeah, I think eventually we'll just get a VR unit down here at the towers, and then every time something VR comes in, we've got enough space to make it happen. So yeah, have a little VR experience. That was it, Nick. Quickly, the sitting down games, I think that will be the key, you know, because like driving games,
a bit long, innit?
Long. Like imagine you do like a 2-hour gaming session standing up. You're right, mate.
Yeah.
Varicose Vainsville, but sitting down in a nice chair. Excuse me, sorry. Sitting down in a chair could be a good experience, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my VR experience, man. So
I think just before we finish, like the only thing with the sitting down ones, right, is obviously your hands can do shit if you've got a PlayStation. Just go, if we're talking about the PlayStation here, your hands can do shit if you've got the PlayStation Move controllers in your hands. But like, to take it to the next level, especially for driving games, I feel like your feet need to be involved. There needs to be an attachment. You know, where like beyond, it's hard because like, you know, if it's just like something that you strap to your feet, then your legs and feet are going to start aching because like you won't have anything. Like if I'm talking from the example, like if you know, like when you drive a car, your feet rest on the pedals, innit? So like that your feet don't ache because they're resting on the pedals. Whereas like if you haven't actually got any pedals underneath you and you've got to like hold your feet up at a weird right angle to your legs, it will start aching. So like. It's hard, but I almost feel like you need to have something on your feet need to be involved if it's a driving game to take it to the next level. Otherwise it's a bit fake, innit? You just sit there like, you know, like not really doing anything with your feet. But I think the potential's there, man. And you know, if you could be driving, even if it's like a rally game or like GTA Escape or you know, a bank heist type thing where you're trying to escape police or whatever, and you're driving the car with a VR headset on, and there's people like telling you to look left and look right at certain points. Like, you know, there's big potential there, man. And
that, Nick, honestly, it was so much fun that I can't lie. And maybe, I don't know, it might be because I'm like a guy, typical guy, and I like that sort of stuff. I'm a sucker for an action film, but that was like, I was like, yes, if there was a whole game of this, I'd be all over it, mate. Like a game, but also a movie, but you're in it. So there's certain kind of like a Goovie. Oh my gosh, a VR Goovie. We got it, baby. We've got plenty of time to talk about VR over the next few weeks, and no doubt there'll be more VR experiences coming up, and we'll be able to talk about them on the show. But it's been a great one. Where can we find you though, Nick?
Online, man. That's where I live, at Nick Bright DJ on everything. Snap, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, all of that shit.
Tinder. Grindr.
Yeah, that's the happen. I'm on them all, mate.
Rah, guaranteed smash. I'm Marcus Bronzy. I'm at Marcus BRONZY. Me and Nick are both streamlined, so whatever social media you go on, type that in and you will find us. Simple. There's plenty of ways to kill an hour out there. Thank you for killing one with us. Just before we fly as well, don't forget you can find links to all the stuff that we talk about in the show by going to howtokillanhour.com/blog, or just check out the show notes. In the description we got links to everything, so if you want to check it out, maybe get your hands on it, you know what I mean. We'll see you next time.
Nice one.
Bless.